was paid in dollars. So I was like, hey,
Big leaks.
dollars. You don't spend dollars in Kenya. You must take them to where dollars are spent.
Yeah.
So I put my wife and myself on a plane and we went to spend the dollars in the US. The amount of money that we made on that one contract could have kept the business running for 8 months. But I blew it in 2 weeks. That new equipment, nobody cared. My customers did not care. What did my customers care about? They didn't care about the equipment I used. They cared about the output of the equipment. The aim of every business is to generate and maximize profit. I thought, business has made money. It is mine. Profit is not your money. If you are eating profit from your business, you are not in business. So even the money that they take from their business, they are not even investing any of it. They are busy just using it and
Eating.
not growing.
You will make more tomorrow. I have struggled with skin concerns of my own. I used to have pretty bad acne, believe it or not, and we're going to add some pictures here so that you can see. And having experienced that journey myself, that is what inspired and led me to grow and start Beauty Square, because I understand the emotional and the mental roller coaster that not having a skin at its best can really take you through. And we wanted to be able to hold people's hands throughout this journey of being able to get into a skin where they can feel and be more confident in. Beauty Square is a proud sponsor of this podcast, and we are a retail cosmetic business where we offer skincare solutions in terms of products. So we have skincare, hair care, body care, and fragrance for both men and women, and we retail from your TikTok favorites to your cult favorites to the products that we've tried and tested, and we know that we're going to help you with getting your skin from point A to point B. Then we also have our sister brand called Sage Skin, where we do the same thing of helping our clients achieve the skin of their dreams through services. And these are treatment facials like chemical peels, microneedling, algae peels, all kinds of treatments. And we also have supplementary services like body scrubs, waxes, and massages. Our wax technicians are really good, and we have amazing packages as well that we put here on the screen. Please patronize our businesses so that we can keep bringing you Founder Diaries, and you can use the code FOUNDER10 on the Beauty Square website, beautysquareke.co, to save some coins and let them know that we sent you. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Founder Diaries. This is episode 5, season 2. If this is the very first episode that you're ever seeing of this podcast, please make sure you go and check out all the other episodes. We are on both audio and visual platforms, and make sure that you subscribe. It really helps us to keep going. So on today's set, I have Mr. Waithaka, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then we'll jump right into it. Yeah.
Great. How do I introduce myself? Waithaka Gatumia. I am a husband to one wife, a father to many girls. I am also in business, and I have, for the last 10 years of my life, been in the space of financial literacy. That's personal financial management and entrepreneurship coaching, and that's what I'm doing right now. So I work as a consultant at the moment, helping individuals, families, and business owners to grow wealth. And at the same time, I'm also building a business, which is fun. It's been a while since I've been at this side, at the startup stage, where you're still trying to, set up structures. And it's a great time to practice what I've been preaching for some time. So I'm involved in a couple of other businesses, like at board level and the like, but now actually doing the implementation, which is always fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you're the first man I've ever heard.
Yes.
Start with introducing themselves as a husband and a father.
Okay.
It's always fast on the other things. Maybe that is mutual, but so that's interesting. So I'm going to discuss a little bit about 21-year-olds. Where were you? What were you doing? How are you making money?
21-year-old Waithaka was not doing anything of any importance at that time. What was I actually doing at 21? That was 2002. 2002, I was trying to figure out what I'm going to do as far as university. Mm-hmm. So I was in the midst of applying to as many universities as I can be. I was a member of a band at that time, and we actually produced an album at that time. I play guitar and I sing. Yes, yes. So I was a member of a band at that time. That was keeping me busy as I was applying to university. Yes, yes.
Were you doing any side hustles other than the band?
Not really. Let me tell you, the band was not for that. Was purely just for. I love music, and it's always been a part of my life, and so that was purely just to keep me engaged at some level and to have the creativity part of me involved there. I had zero financial problems or plans other than I'm going to university and my parents look for the money to help me to do it. You know, that was it. Yes.
Okay, because you find most entrepreneurs have been doing some kind of business from when they were really young.
I think, no, personally, no. That wasn't me. No.
Okay. So then what was your first induction into business?
My first induction to business, we did, so after university, I came home and I was trying to figure out what to do with my life.
Yeah.
So it may be a surprise to many people. I actually studied media and communications in university. And so I thought that's the direction that I was going to go in my life. And so when I came back, I started doing PR consultancy work. So I was doing kind of below the line PR work and assisting various companies with launching products, events. And it was a very interesting season of my life because I was involved in the arts world quite a bit. I'll tell you one story. Here's my claim to fame, if you don't mind. So I can claim that I discovered a guy called Johnson Mwakazi. I don't know if you know a guy called Johnson Mwakazi. You don't know Johnson? He's the voice of Citizen. As in, he used to be a Citizen anchor. Yvonne, you don't watch news, but then he used to be a Citizen anchor, and he's the voice of Citizen. You know, like those in-between parts of Citizen TV, he does the voiceover for that. He's an amazing MC. He does a lot of work in that same space.
Yeah.
And when I was involved with a company at that time called Sterling Quality Entertainment, we used to do productions at the National Theatre. He came for an audition. I was one of the directors of the production that was there. And he came in as the most quiet guy. You couldn't hear his voice. And then he got on stage and became someone completely different. He has such a deep, rich voice and he carries. And I was like, wow. So he was immediately hired for that production. And I hired him for quite a few others. Like we would do product launches and things, and we would do like theatrical productions for that. And he was part of it. At one of them, Jimmy Gathu was at the event and was like, who is that guy? So he called me and he said, Waithaka, who is that guy that you're working with? Jimmy called him, went in for an audition at Citizen and became an anchor there on the news. I mean, that was just amazing.
Wow.
So that was the hustle at that time that I was doing, which was trying to get to be of support to businesses in getting their message out.
Yeah. What should you say has been like the worst or best business ventures you've been in so far?
Worst or best? I can't say that there's any that I would say I regret. I think each one of them has been necessary for me to understand business as a whole, to be able to communicate about business. And so it has been a learning, whether it's been positive or negative, it has built who I am now. And so my work in PR, my work in production, I've supported businesses that are doing retail. I've supported businesses, I'm on a board of a company right now that does wholesale and logistics. So you look at how a business works when you're not considering the end user, because you see, when you're in logistics and wholesale, you're not chasing customers. It's about logistics, end to end. How do you get the product to the one who actually then sells to the final customer? So each one of those experiences has built my knowledge to help other business owners. You get what I'm saying? And I've always loved learning. So being in new environments helps me to say, oh, wow, that's interesting. I've never saw it from that perspective. How could that help another business owner? And so best or worst, I've made mistakes and I've had successes, and each one of them has been a lesson for me. I can't identify one specific thing.
Maybe which was the most painful lesson?
Painful lesson.
Yeah.
I didn't know it at the time, but this has become like the foundation of my lessons to business owners because of a failure that I had. I did not understand the 2 rules of business. And so I made a mistake I broke both rules. So let me explain. So in the production company that I had, after I did the PR work, I started a production company which used to do stuff like this, like producing documentaries and things. I produced for TV as well. I thought that when the company is making money, I am making money. All right. I was like, see, it is my company. And therefore the money in the company is whose?
Right.
It is mine. 100% wrong. I had no clue how business works. And so, I think I've always been a hard worker, and so I can get projects done. Like I'll get the work done. So we got a contract to produce a TV series that was going to be around East Africa, and it eventually sold to different places. The first contract that I ever got, and I was paid in US dollars. And I was like, what is this? So I'd done other small jobs, productions for schools and different places and stuff like that. But this was now, I was paid in dollars. So I was like, hey,
Big leaks.
dollars. You don't spend dollars in Kenya. You must take them to where dollars are spent.
Yeah.
So I put my wife and myself on a plane, and we went to spend the dollars in the US. What I didn't understand about cash flow in a business is that just because you had a big chunk that came in at that time, you didn't have to spend it all. Now, I was telling myself I'm spending it on the business because I told myself, okay, it's a production company. Let's go to the US. Let's purchase new equipment, new laptop, new cameras, all those different things that we wanted to do and have a bit of a holiday. I was telling myself I'm doing this for the business. Now, what happened was we spent all the money. So when we came back, you're back at zero. And so you have to find the next contract to pay for the business for the next month. If I knew what I know now, the amount of money that we made on that one contract could have kept the business running for 8 months. But I blew it in 2 weeks and had to start hustling again because I didn't understand cash flows. So first of all, it was a vanity project for me because guess what? That new equipment, nobody cared. My customers did not care. What did my customers care about? They didn't care about the equipment I used. They cared about the output of the equipment. And until that point, the output had been fine. So I'm trying to tell the customer now, guess what? We have all this new equipment. Therefore, the production should look better. To them, to their eyes, they can't see it. So they're like, why am I paying more for the same work that I'd done before? Biggest mistake, because it put us back into a cash flow strain that I didn't know. So first of all, I used business money that was not mine. Then I had no understanding of rule number 1 of business. And rule number 1 of business is the aim of every business is to generate and maximize profit. I'll say that again. The aim of every business is to generate, that is to make, and maximize, get as much as possible profit. Okay? That's it. That's the difference between a business and a hobby. Because your hobby you just do for fun. Yeah. A business is about money. And if you're not, no, let me change that. It's about profit. Because when people hear money,
they just look at revenue.
Please understand, revenue and profit are not the same thing. A business can be making a lot of money but losing more. So money is not the key. Key is profit. Hey, well done, Yvonne. Hey, please say that. Guys, did you hear? Revenue versus profit. That's a business owner right there. So I was busy focusing on revenue. I had no clue about the profitability of my business. So I thought that every time I do a project, I would work in how much is my money and I charge the customer, and then I just take that money. I didn't realize that I was working in that project. And therefore, that work that I'm doing should be compensated for, above which I charge a margin, which is your profit margin or your gross margin that you put on top of that. I had no idea. So I was just project to project, and I was wondering, why is it like we're never getting free? Even if you're getting paid, you're not free, because you always have to do the next project in order to get. So that was rule number 1. Rule number 2, which I also broke in that same moment, and this is only for my African brothers and sisters. My brothers and sisters in Africa, please. Rule 2. Profit is not your money. I didn't know that. I thought business has made money. It is mine. Profit is not your money. If you are eating profit from your business, you are not in business. Essentially, what I was, and many business owners, I will not call them entrepreneurs, I will call them business owners here in Africa, because I was one of them. I can say this because that was me. We are self-employed. We are not entrepreneurs. And what that means is, if you are self-employed, if you don't work, there's no money. But entrepreneurs build businesses that work whether they work or not. They build a system. And you see, I would not be able to talk clearly about these things if I had not gone through them in the first place.
Yeah.
And eventually, essentially failed in business at the beginning because I didn't know the rules.
Yeah, true. But if I'm to argue on behalf of us business owners, self-employed people.
Sorry, I'm one of you, but I'll argue.
Do you think part of the reason that now, like in your instance where you got this big paycheck and you think, okay, now it's time to pay myself, is that one, that we don't pay ourselves consistently, or there's no set salary? Like the way your accountant has a specific salary every month and that's what he's paid, regardless of his expenses or the money he needs. Yeah. We don't do the same thing for ourselves. So at some point you need to finance your life. You need to give yourself some comfort for the stress and headache you go through. So you end up doing things like that where you take the profit. Yeah. So while we're on this line of thinking, what would your advice be in terms of how do I figure out how much to pay myself? I can give you some parameters to simulate so people can get like a practical example if maybe there's like a formula. So let's say my business generates 1 million shillings a month. Between my OPEX and all the other variable expenses, my profit comes to maybe like 200,000. How much should I pay myself?
So there are so many problems with the example that you have given so far.
Okay.
Many issues. Let's start at the very beginning.
Okay.
The very beginning. So I want to talk to my fellow Africans, okay? And I want to say this. Can I even say it directly to the camera? I want to speak to you. You are valuable. Just you. And I think for too long, we as Africans have been devalued to the point that we don't even recognize when we don't value ourselves. So I want to say to you, just for being you, you are valuable. So never consider yourself as less, that I will pay myself at some point. No. In fact, I have a feeling this must resonate with you. Who is putting the most value into your business? Isn't it you? And therefore, shouldn't you receive the value back? So I want you to leave, if you leave with nothing else from this talk, remember, you are valuable. Okay? So when you're paying yourself, because I've heard this, people are like almost guilty that I paid myself. Like they're feeling guilt. I don't know where we got this idea that I should not take money out of my own business. What are you in business for? Yeah. Aren't you in business to make money, to build wealth? So why would you feel guilty for taking money from your business? That's what you got into business for. Okay, so that was problem number 1. We're going step by step. Problem number 2. How in the world, Yvonne, can you calculate profit margin if there is an employee of that organization who is not being paid? Because labor is a cost to a business.
True.
And so if you have not yet inputted the cost of your labor into the business, then you cannot calculate profit margin, because it means there is a factor of production that is labor, that is you who is working in that business, who has not yet accounted for the value of your work. Let me break it down. It is as if you have a slave working in your business. Now, Yvonne, you're a business owner. Are you a slave?
Well, it could be argued, but no.
You're not a slave.
Yeah.
You're in business to make money. So first of all, if you have not put the value of your work as a cost in the business, then we don't know whether the business is profitable or not. Because there is a factor of production that is unaccounted for in that business. Can I give another way of thinking about it? It is as if you tried to calculate profit and you forgot to put in transport costs or rent costs in your business. If you fail to put in a rent cost for your business as a cost, you called it OPEX, well done, operational costs, right? If you fail to put it in there, then we don't know if the business is profitable or not, because there is a cost that is yet to be accounted for. Labor is one of those costs. And you doing work in your business is a labor cost. So before you can calculate profit margin, before you can calculate profit, you must calculate how much the value of your work is. Okay? So can we now answer
Yes.
the
How
value?
do we determine
How
that?
do you determine?
So what you're basically saying, because I think what a lot of us do is we look at the numbers, then we're working from that endpoint to determine what I should be paying myself, right? But what you're saying is it should be the input, and then that determines this end figure. So if my salary is 500,000, it means this business is negative 300,000. But I think now where a lot of us are stuck is, how do I determine if I'm paying myself 50K, 1 million, 10 million?
Yes.
How do I decide what that figure is
Again,
like?
Yvonne, this is a problem only for us Africans. I've trained around the world. I've trained on every continent on earth. And I've trained people from South America, North America, Asia, Australia, Africa. The only continent I've yet to train is Antarctica. There are not many people there. The penguins will not yet take my training. Here's what I want you to understand. It is only here in Africa where people struggle to tell their value. I do not plan to pay myself based on the ability of my business. My value is not measured by the ability of my business. I am valuable with or without my business. Can I show you how to do that? Very good. Do you mind if we do a small exercise with you?
No, go ahead.
Great. Yvonne, welcome.
Thank you.
This is TLM Limited. That's my company. I would like to hire you today.
Okay.
What number, Yvonne, would I need to write down on a piece of paper for you to come and work for me full time?
What is the work scope?
I want you essentially to join me in my training company. So you're going to be handling operations and you're going to be handling client relation as well. So this is a senior level job in my business. Yes.
I would like
No,
5.
but I want it based,
Yeah.
even if I didn't give you the scope of work.
Yeah.
You're working for me full time. So you're not going to be able to do all these other things that you're doing.
Yeah.
I want you at my business full time. What number would I need to write down?
500.
Good, that's your value.
Yeah. Net.
Listen to me. I'm not judging you. I simply ask, what number would I need to write down? That's your value. You see, it's very easy for you to tell
Someone else.
a business owner who's trying to hire you what you value yourself as. But for some reason, when we look at our business, we don't value ourselves the same way. So Yvonne, in your business, if your business is paying you less than 500,000 shillings, there's a problem because that is your value. So can we work to the next stage?
Yes.
So the next stage is this, Yvonne. Plug in your value as a cost in your business, just like the same way you plugged in rent, you plugged in transport, you plugged in marketing, all these as operational expenses. Plug it in. Just put it in. I did not say you have to take the money out. On your projections for your business, you put projections on what we call a profit and loss or an income statement. So the income statement tries to project what the revenue will be from sales, what the direct costs of sales will be. So like the cost of goods, especially I know you sell products, yeah? So you know when most of the products you import, isn't it, yeah? So you know the cost of getting the product from wherever you import it from, and it has landed in your shop. So you know that cost. So that is the cost of goods. That's the cost of the materials. So you know that you're always going to sell those products for more than that cost, isn't it? Because it's a direct cost.
Yeah.
So you have your revenue, then you have your direct costs, and then you have what, now you can term it in different ways. You have indirect costs. We call them, what you said earlier on, well done, operational costs, and or we can call them overheads. These are things that you talk about. These are things that are not linked directly to each item. So it's very difficult to put a rent cost per bottle of facial cream or something like that. It's difficult. So you can't assign a labor cost per bottle. So what you try and do is make sure that you have a gross margin, which means I bought the bottle at 2,000 shillings. I am now selling it at 3,000 or 4,000. So when I sell it at 4,000, the business has not made 4,000, has not made 2,000. So you've taken the cost of the product 2,000, you've charged 2,000 on top. The difference is not profit. First of all, let's get that out of the way. That difference is not profit. It is called gross profit. Why is it called gross profit? Because there are other costs in the business that have yet to be accounted for and are often spread throughout the sales plan that you have. And those costs are rent, utilities, licenses, labor, which is probably the biggest one, including you as the business owner. So in your business, there should be a line item that has a 500 net is just over.
It's like 900 or 800 gross.
Somewhere there.
Yeah.
Yes. Depending on what your deductions are for NSSF and all those other things that are there. And obviously income tax. So your salary should show up there as a cost, including the salary of all your team members as well, right? So you have labor cost for your payroll, marketing, because marketing, you can't assign a marketing cost per bottle. So all those costs there. Now, the gross margin should be able to be more than all your operational expenses. So like in our story here, if you sold one bottle, isn't it? So you'd have 2,000 in gross margin, but you have about 1,000,000 shillings in operational expenses.
Yeah.
So in that example, what must I do to make this business work? What do you think?
I mean, figure out your sales. Sell more than one bottle.
I have to sell enough that the gross margin after direct costs is more than 1,000,000 bob. Then I am profitable. Yeah. The money you pay yourself is not profit. As business owners, you do not make money from the profit of your business. Remember rule number 2.
Yeah, profit is not your money.
Is not your money. There are only 3 ways that you make money from your business. You pay yourself a salary or a wage. You pay yourself a dividend. Now, dividend is a portion of the net profit at the end of a financial year. So you don't pay dividends willy-nilly in the middle of the year. You're making a mistake. Dividend comes after you have done your audits, you have done your tax returns and everything, then you pay yourself a dividend after tax. So it's a part of the profit after tax. And then number 3, and this is where business owners become rich. Like this is where you see people's lives change, is when you sell your business. Either you sell a part of it, shares to other investors, or you sell the whole business. That's when that money from the sale goes directly in your pocket. Even if you let me talk, I can go like this for hours. But what I wanted to illustrate is that business owners must first value themselves. And you put your value as a cost in your business. Because here's why. If you ever want to move on and do other things in your business, won't you have to hire people to do the same work that you're doing? That is still a cost. Secondly, if you don't put that cost as a salary to yourself, Yvonne, tell me, how do you think, if you're not paying yourself, then how do you pay your own rent, your school fees for your children? How do you drive your car around? How do you live? How do you eat? How do you go to the supermarket if you're not paying yourself?
Yeah.
So most business owners, yes, they say, I'm not paying myself a salary. But they have full access to their business accounts and simply withdraw whatever cash they find
That's
there.
needed.
Can I give a very quick warning to business owners? Business owners, please wake up. Now I'm speaking, this is for all of Africa, because yes, we were training in Uganda the other week, same problems. So whether it is the Uganda Revenue Authority or the Kenya Revenue Authority, they will eventually find you. And they will find that this money came out of the business and it went to you. And they will say, Yvonne, I saw money leave the account and it went to you, into your account. And so you've seen now KRA has access to your accounts, not just your bank accounts, but even M-Pesa. So they will say, money left the business and went to your M-Pesa or to your bank account, your personal one. We believe that is an income. Can we have payee from that? Yes. And you've seen it now. See, now they're asking for receipts. You must have a receipt. You must have an e-Teams. Please get your house in order before they show up at your door.
And I think even now, though this is not a tax conversation, but especially with the e-Teams being brought in, it is basically automating this whole expensing and income part. So even if before you were taking maybe 50K to pay your house rent, you can't put that on the books because how you expense it? Do you have an e-Teams receipt for it? So you need the payee also to be able to expense it to your business. I think that's the other element people don't think about. You think you're saving taxes by, okay, let me just pay directly from the account. But now you will not be able to deduct that money and they'll consider it part of your profits even worse.
They will consider it an income.
Yeah.
And every citizen of a country is required.
No, before you get to even the audit, now when you're filing your taxes this year, you won't be able to expense that 50K. So it will remain as part of your profit and you'll pay taxes on it. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Let's take a minute to please listen to a word from our sponsors. Our lovely hosts today are the Sarova Hotel Group and in specific the New Stanley and Pan-Afric locations. New Stanley has a variety of services that you can enjoy from their exchange bar, which has a beautiful setting to get work done quietly or enjoy post-work drinks. They have a beautiful cocktail offer on Wednesday evenings. They also have an executive lounge where you can host meetings in their boardroom or entertain. They also have beautiful rooms that you can stay in, such as their presidential suite and the Lamu suite. How pretty. How can I forget about the Valley? That's my favorite part about it, given that it's in CBD. Pan-Afric is nestled in Upper Hill, which has a gorgeous suite for that staycation to help you reset. Let's be honest, as founders and business owners, we're constantly overworking and could honestly always use that break. Now, what's unique about Pan-Afric is that they also have a wing that's entirely dedicated just for women and has beautiful feminine touches to make you feel even more at home. You can also enjoy services from their wellness center, such as the spa, gym, and pool. I have to add that the hospitality is truly unmatched, so the next time you need to book an in-city getaway or host a meeting, think of Sarova. So we all know you probably from Centonomy. So I'm really curious to hear about your journey. To how did you find yourself there from, being in business to now working at Centonomy to now rising and becoming the CEO? Yeah, tell us about that.
Wow. So how much time do you have? I'll try and give you the summary.
Summaries, yeah.
So the beginning was in 2010, I believe. I was running my production company, and Waithaka was still pushing along. She had been doing Centonomy now for a year, because she started 2009, I believe. So I was running my production company. Good friends with her brother, Dan Duarte, who's also an amazing entrepreneur. He started 2 businesses, Guka's Coffee and Brand 2D. Those are his businesses, right? So we're friends with him, and he said, hey, my sister's having an event. She needs somebody to cover the event. Can you do the videography for that event? I said, yeah, business. Bring in the business. So I attended the event. It was called Sensible Woman. It was here in Westlands, Jacaranda. I still remember that day. And so I'm in the room recording. We were only like 2 men in that room. It was me and I think the sound guy at the back. We were doing the production work. And the rest were women. So it was called Sensible Woman. And Waithaka had brought in women to talk about personal finance. And in that session, she was telling the women, ladies, you people, you're not serious. Men are in clubs and in bars sitting together and planning and making financial deals and planning and building wealth. And we are just sitting around talking about our children. We should be discussing those things. So me and the other guy at the back of the room, we were leaning over to each other and we were just wondering, hey, which clubs and bars are these that guys are talking about money? The ones we go to in soccer and rugby and other things that are there. And everything that she was saying was resonating with me. Like I was like, yeah, I should be saving more. I should be investing more. I never thought about it like that. And so that was 2010. So we started a business relationship. So I was doing service provision for them, production work for Centonomy as a supplier outside of the business until 2012 when I said, you know what? Actually, it was a realization. I had just gotten married. So when I got home, I was like, whoa. Now it's not just me I'm taking care of. I have to take care of my family as well. And so I said, you know what? I've been involved with Centonomy from outside. I want to do this class for myself. So I actually sat in the Centonomy 101 program in 2012 because I said, yes, I'm around the material, but this is for me. I need to have a financial plan for me and my family to be a good steward as God has called me to be. And so I did the class. And after, the class just changed my life. Like it was just like, get some order in place. I understood my goals. I understood the direction that I wanted to go. We were sitting and discussing my wife a lot better. We learned so much in that program. One of the lessons in the Centonomy 101 program is we are asked, what do you have in your hands? What non-financial assets do you have that you could use to increase your income? Mm-hmm. And so after about 2 years, I don't know why I didn't start earlier than that, but 2 years later, as we're still engaged as a supplier to Centonomy. And so I saw one of the ads on the website, and they were saying, we're looking for trainers. If you'd like to, please come for an interview at our offices, and we do. So I said, you know what? I have been around this material now since 2009. This is 2014. I kind of know this stuff. I've even attended the class. I think I could be a good trainer. I'm good at communication. Let me try. You never know. And they were saying we would train you and then you'll be like one of the trainers that are there. So I said, so they were not asking for specific qualifications. They were looking for a certain type of personality to be able to communicate effectively. And so I said, I'll go. And so it was a very interesting interview because before then I used to dress up very much like some of the production crew that you have here. I was a guy of, cargo pants because that's easy to do and, T-shirts and stuff. But that day I went in a suit. So first of all, everyone in the place was like, what, that guy's here in a suit? So it was a really powerful lesson because I think it changed your appearance matters. So in as much, I'm not trying to say that you have to spend a lot on your look because many times people think, I have to go to the highest, you can get a good quality suit, not at a very expensive price. You can even get secondhand. The thing is, make sure it fits right. Make sure it's good colors. Get somebody to advise you on that. Ask a good friend. Because how you look matters.
I think it's more about the effort. People mistake it for how much you spend on it, but it's the effort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember training a group of executives. I won't say which company here. It was a group of ladies, executives. And they really came down. No, you have to spend money. You have to spend money. So I stood up in the middle of them. I said, ladies, look at me. Do I look good? And they said, yes. I was in a suit at that time, and tie. I said, okay, how much do you think I spent on what I'm dressed in right now? And they all overestimated by more than 3 times how much I had spent on my suit, just simply because it fit well, it looked nice, and it was ironed. You know what I mean? And small items just to make it work. So you're right. It's not about how much you spend. Make what you have work. Anyway. So I interviewed people. I was shocked and stuff. I got the job. So I got a job as a part-time trainer at Centonomy 2014. By the end of that year, Waithaka is like, what are you doing, Waithaka? Just
come on board.
Come on board.
Yeah.
Because by the end of 2014, my other business was failing and I was having a hard time. And so I had told Waithaka, hey, I'm interviewing for different jobs in different places. Can you be a referee? And she was like, oh, you're looking for a job? So a few weeks later, she's like, Waithaka, come. I think we can work together. So I joined as part of the training team, part of the programs team there. And then after like a year or so, I was promoted to general manager. And then 2 years after that, I was promoted to CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that transition like?
From what?
Now being,
yes,
I guess actually being a trainer,
yes,
to being the CEO, because I feel like there's a big shift in what you're in
so
charge of, what you also know.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious what that.
But I think it was necessary because if you know that part, if you know what the customer needs, what the product or the service is, that I think it was vital to have started there because I understood the fundamentals of what the business is. And then, you see, I've always been an advocate in my life. I learned it from my first boss. This was just after university. And my first boss, it was a small company, and he said, Waithaka, we're a small company. Don't just do what you're told to do. Do more. And that has always been the back of my head. I really thank God for Mr. Leo Slingerland, head of family media. He was my first boss. He's a tough guy, but he really changed my life as well. So I joined Centonomy and I didn't just stay a trainer. Like I was involved in the marketing. I was involved in the sales process. I was involved in the operation side. I was involved in the finance side. As in, I would train, but I was also part of the other departments. And you get yourself involved. Don't wait to be asked. Be of help. Be of service to other people. Make sure you're hitting your KPIs. Don't like spread yourself so thin that you're losing on your core business, but be involved. And I think that opened, like it showed that the leadership at Centonomy that this guy is not just here to train, like he's got more in him. And so the transition is really about now you have understood the fundamentals of the business. If you're coming into leadership, how do you deploy the resources of the company in such a way that they give a higher return? What are the areas in which you can improve or align your resources so that you're aiming for that profitability that is there? So when you're a trainer or you're part of the team, like, operations or in the programs department, you're really about what are the tasks that you have. That's a big part of it. But when you're in senior leadership, now it is about how do you deploy the resources for maximum return. So that's the difference in thought, that now you're not so much the training, but more how do I get trainers to as many different places? How do we open markets? It was during my time that we first went online. We did a couple of other new programs within the Centonomy itself. We opened up in a new country, we're in Uganda as well. So these were all ways to stretch our resources to get a higher return.
Yeah. Did you notice a shift in the business once Waithaka stepped away from the role as CEO and stepped into being the founder?
Yeah.
What changed?
Oh, how would I say? The business is, in business, business has a personality, and the personality of the business often mirrors, in a way, the personality of the leader. And so definitely there was a shift in the way we would work, because I'm not the same as Washeke. She's an amazing mentor, and I thank God for her. She changed my life. Like, I never thought that that my life would be finance, personal finance and business. That was furthest from my dreams. But she saw something in me and gave me an opportunity, and for that I'll be forever grateful. But as you said, was there a shift? Yeah, I mean, the business does change. You carry a different priorities and culture, and those are intangibles, whereas you're still aiming for the same thing, which is profit, but how you achieve that is different.
Would you say there's also a difference in the tangibles?
In what way?
Like the bottom line.
Yeah, but you see, let me be very clear. In as much as Washeke was now part of the board that you talk about, the leadership beyond not the day-to-day, she was still involved in the business. She still carried a big part of the brand. She was building other areas, so she went into the publishing side. She started doing the book Making Sense. So she was still part of that and always involved in strategy. And here's the thing. I became CEO at the end of 2018, and 2019 was our biggest year, because we were essentially doing the handover during that period of time, and so it was two of us kind of driving the agenda of the business. So we had really good growth, followed immediately by COVID, which was 2020, which was so interesting. So again, it was drawing on our resources together to keep the business alive, because COVID could have shut down our business. Because up until 2020, Centonomy was a in-person learning. And so March 13th, when President Uhuru said no more in-person learning, our business was shut down. And that really took a quick pivot, because in 2 days, we learned what Zoom was, and we started doing online learning. And that kept the business alive.
I asked that because I think when we stay on as CEOs, I think we limit our ability to focus on our strengths and what we can bring in. So I imagine being able to bring in a CEO will allow you to focus on like your strengths. I think also just have a second brain to lean on, because sometimes it can be a lot, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur. So if you're speaking to someone else who's been in business maybe for many years, they've passed, the startup stage, the growth stage. At what point, what would you say are some of the signs that it's time for a founder to get a CEO?
I think there are many factors as to why. Because like when it's with Washeke as an example, she really describes herself as a creative. Like, she's entrepreneurial, not very much operational. And so she gets her energy from creating a new program or writing a book, or, right now she's doing a podcast. I think I saw you on her podcast as well. That was amazing. You see, she's a very creative mind, right? And so the day-to-day operational have HR done their, contracts properly? Have you filed your taxes properly? Have you done? Those are not things that maybe are of interest in that way. Maybe that's an area of interest for you. So to get a partner in the business or somebody else who's doing, you're looking for someone to complement your strengths and your areas of interest. And so my role was to really get that operational side, getting the business to run as much as you can. Even though later on, now we started exploring more the creative side, what new things can we do within the business, when we had a now wider leadership group. So they now got tasked with a lot more of the operational day-to-day mundane work. So that's the kind of environment that you want to build. Always make sure that you're getting somebody complementary, because there are some founders who are very operational thought, like they have structure, like they're going to do supply chains, and growth of that business. Cool. So maybe then you need support in other areas. You need like a CFO who is helping you on the finance side, or a COO who's helping you on operations, but you're still driving that. So it's really about what does the what skill set does the business need rather than just hiring for the sake of hiring. Yeah.
That's a good question. Great. So, as someone who's worked with business owners a lot, why do you think so many entrepreneurs build businesses but struggle with like building wealth outside of that? And I'll couple it with another question. And now once you start to think of the business as a separate entity, building wealth or like also setting up the business. The same way we have like an emergency fund for Yvonne for the business. Because now once you say profit is not your money, I think now sometimes what tends to happen is like maybe if you sell cakes, you take all the profit you had left, maybe you buy a new oven. Or you take all the profit left, you open a new branch or you buy new stock, which is fine. But I think at some point there has to be some kind of diversification. Yeah.
Wow, you've asked these are such heavy, deep questions. I feel like we need hours to break
Unpack
them down.
Yeah.
So the first one was, why do I think that entrepreneurs struggle to build wealth? Because we have failed to define wealth. So I think I need to say this. African entrepreneurs struggle. In the world, the wealthiest people are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Business owners are the wealthiest people because most of their wealth is in businesses that have scaled to mind-boggling levels. Right? When you think of your Elon Musks, your Zuckerbergs, your Gates and all, most of their wealth is in SpaceX, Twitter, Tesla, Facebook, or not Facebook, Meta, and for Bill Gates, it's in Microsoft. So they own a business, they own shares, in businesses, and those shares are valued at a huge number. Like, when you think about those numbers, sometimes it's like, anyway.
Some to go,
But even if they gave, you'd still not even. So, first of all, as a business owner, that you would recognize that this business could be your primary wealth creator. What does that mean? 2 levels. The business pays you cash to sustain your life, but if it also grows, it grows in value to a stage in which it is an asset to you. Elon Musk can go to the bank and say, I have billions of shares in Tesla. Give me a loan against those shares. You see, it has created wealth because it has value that is recognized across. We want African businesses to grow to where they have sufficient value that they are a source of wealth for you. I always give the example of Java, if you've ever, because that's a Kenyan business. Yeah. That's, we talk about Kina Teslas and all those. Java is a Kenyan business. Homeboys is a Kenyan business. These are all businesses that grew to a certain level and then the founders sold a part or the whole of their businesses. And that made them wealthy. Yeah. I think at the second time, Kevin Ashley, the founder of Java, one of the founders of Java, when they sold the business the second time, they sold it for 13 billion shillings. He owned 10% of that business. So he went home with a clean 1.3 B. Tell me that's not wealth?
It is.
Don't you want to sell your business to L'Oreal the way Interconsumer sold the business? I forget the founder's name of Interconsumer. He's a great entrepreneur. But those local beauty products were bought over by a multi-billion-dollar global business like L'Oreal, who was coming to this country, and they paid billions of shillings for that company. Isn't that wealth?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
But it has to be a profitable, functioning business. Now, the problem is that most of our businesses are not profitable. They are a source of self-employment, but not for wealth creation. So why do business owners struggle? Because they don't even have a picture, an idea of what a profitable business looks like.
Yeah.
And so a big part of my purpose on earth is to show people this is what business looks like, so that they can begin to dream and see what could I do better around this? I've even forgotten the second question that you had asked. The second question, that was now, why do I think?
Yeah.
And then business owners don't manage their money well. They're often the problem. So even the money that they take from their business, they are not even investing any of it. They are busy just using it and not growing.
You'll make more tomorrow. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Let's take a minute to please listen to a word from our sponsors. Hands up if you're a business owner who heard about the E-Teams mandate last year and you were either confused by it, or didn't quite understand it, are hoping it doesn't affect you or that it's going to go away. Unfortunately, it's not going away and E-Teams is here to stay. So E-Teams is basically an invoicing system, electronic, that allows Carrie to kind of be in touch with your income as you bring it in and also your expenses as they're being brought up against you. Now, it's important that you have this in place because that's the only way you're going to be able to file your taxes, because now the system will simply auto-populate. It sounds like a lot, I know, but this is where Digitax comes in. Digitax is basically a service that allows you to be able to raise your E-Teams invoices in an easy, much more seamless way. And the best part is they can integrate with an existing platform that you're already using, like UserPoint or Odoo. There's quite a number that we list in the description box. That way, when you're making your sales, you don't have to separately go in and log an E-Teams invoice. It's extremely important that you stay compliant because otherwise it's going to cost you money. Go to digitax.tech to book a demo and look at how the whole thing works. And it's only 10,000 bob per year for an user's profile, and you can have multiple accounts under one. You're welcome. My second question was around that profit. How do you utilize it, right? Like wisely, aside from just simply reinvesting in the business. I think it comes to a point where you need to think about some kind of diversification. And one of the first things that comes to mind is maybe at least like cash reserves for the business, because many businesses don't have that. Like if you tell me we have to close for 3 weeks from tomorrow, I don't have mine to anyone. Yeah.
And that was one of my biggest lessons working at Centonomy. Waithaka ensured that the business had cash reserves. And that's what kept us alive when things were changing and we couldn't see what way forward.
Yeah.
Yes, like a person should have savings, a business should have savings, right? So you're 100% right. I don't know, this is me, I don't know that necessarily diversification in business is necessarily the best.
Not diversifying into other investments.
Okay.
I was giving an example of, instead of the only thing you do with profit is to like grow the business, what are these
savings
other things you need to look out
for?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, if you're using your profit to grow the business, which is really reinvesting it, then you are actually giving the business more stability because it's giving higher revenues, which allows for higher savings and the like. So you're right. I think I wouldn't add anything else to what you have said. A business should have cash reserves for when it's necessary.
Yeah. I think also part of the issue with the wealth conversation is that we don't believe that can be us. It feels like, that was Java, like that can't possibly be me. So we don't build our businesses for such opportunities. So you don't have any audited accounts, you don't have books, you don't pay yourself because you don't think like this is just my Kenyeji business that will remain my Kenyeji business. So that's the mindset from the very beginning, and you limit yourself to the idea or the possibility that can happen. But I think also part of it is just examples. We don't see many examples of that, but that's what we're aiming to change. So we're going to get into a segment that I call the Technically segment, which gives us insights into how you practically run your business. Okay. So what is one thing you must do every day or weekly for the business?
There's one thing I must keep an eye on the cash flow.
Okay.
Every day. Like how are we on targets that we are going for? And that's one of the other issues that we have. Like in our local businesses, we often don't have targets. And when I mean targets, I don't mean just numbers that you told your team we are going to aim for. Targets that are actually linked to profitability. Yeah. Like I was running a class just last night, and the whole class was just surprised that targets are not just based on we want to make a certain amount of money. Targets are based on what will keep the lights on in the business and then what will give a return on profit over above that. So if I know what the targets are, then I need to know what the cash flow is consistently. So keeping an eye on the cash is important. Why? Because often you need to make payments and you also need to be paid. And those two things are not always aligned.
Yes.
And so being able to say, okay, we'll be paid in 3 weeks, but I need to make a payment now. How do I manage that? Can I get a credit period with my suppliers, or do I get an overdraft to pay and then repay the overdraft when the cash comes in from my other clients? So keeping an eye on the cash every day. Number 2, I need to be learning every day. Like, it's important. So I've realized, use any method to do it. So whether it's reading books, this one is the hard part for me. I'm not a big reader. But I told myself this year, if I'm telling my children they must read every day, I'm joining them. So my kids hold me accountable on this. So all of us read a chapter of a book every day as minimum. If you can read more, read.
Yeah.
But a chapter of a book every day. And most days I'll listen to some kind of podcast like this from somebody I respect that I'm going to learn and grow. What else must I do? I must chase customers every day. Like there's a thing like people expect customers to just come.
Find you. Yeah.
That's not how it works. You go and find them. Those are the three
things.
So I'm seated here chasing customers. I hope we understand.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I come to a podcast like this, I am chasing customers. Why? Because you've built an amazing brand, and that I would be associated with that brand is great. You have a brilliant, thoughtful, focused audience. I met them at the event that you did in town the other time. These are brilliant people. And so I know if I'm speaking in a language they understand, God willing, at some point they'll be my customer as well.
Yeah.
So brand building, customer acquisition plans that you're going to make there, calling customers, responding to them. Those are the 3 things I would say
Must do.
I have to do. Otherwise, I'll not be in business.
Those are pivotal.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, more from like a vulnerability or authenticity perspective, what's one thing you should be doing with the business finances, but you're not doing, or that you struggle
Hiring.
with?
Yeah.
Okay, that one is many of us. And why is it? Is it from the cost element? Is it from a control element?
Let me be. See, I can be as honest as I can. The fear is, if I have this person, I must pay them. Yes.
Yeah.
See, right now, if I'm doing a lot of contractual work with people, such as I have a project, come, let's do the project, and then you go.
Yeah.
But I do now need some full-time people as well on my team. Why are you putting me on the spot like this, Yvonne? It's not
because
fun.
I think it's
You've just
important that people see, you can know all these things, but you can also still struggle to apply, because many of us know the things, but we struggle to apply, and you might feel like, am I the problem?
Yeah.
But it's all of us.
There's stuff I shouldn't be handling now.
Yeah.
And I should have somebody to do that. And I need to do that.
It's okay. It's valid. It's a pinpoint for many of us. So you do look at the numbers every day, but I'm curious, do you do like an end month or like a weekly finance meeting to look at the numbers from a bigger overview?
Yeah.
And what are some recent decisions that you've made from looking at the numbers?
Yeah, I mean, you do projections for the year, which they kind of tell you where you should be by a certain time. So when you do annual projections, or projections of any level, right? Even if it's monthly projections, then you need to come back and see, how are we doing? Because if we're not up to the levels, it means that the next month is going to be harder. So when you're looking at them, you're trying to say, how far are we? If there's a problem, if we're below expectations, then it means you're either cutting costs or you're trying to find how can we earn a little bit more? What can we do that will change the income or the revenues that are at this point? And I mean, I learned that a lot at Centonomy, where you'd say, and especially in years of volatility, like from 2020 to 2024, even till now, we are still recovering from COVID because systems just changed globally and everything that was there. But in that season of volatility, you'd be like, we expected the class, let's say, to have 200 students. we have only 150. So we have 50 students
Short.
What could we do? So we would have a meeting after we've set up the class, and then we'd say, okay, we're 50 students short. That means revenue of X amount. How can we earn X in the next 1 month? And often we'd do like a webinar or do a seminar or do something that bridges
The gap.
that gap.
Yeah.
So that you're never just sitting back and saying, oh, customers should come. No, you're out there chasing them.
I like that. Final question before we go.
If I can add to that, so many people like in the retail space, you'll see they'll do promotions
Yeah.
because there's a revenue gap. So promotions will either be to grow a certain brand and build at the beginning, but often it's also to bridge gaps along the way. So you find like a product is not selling, you'll say, okay, we have a margin on this of maybe 15%. If we cut that down to 10% and offer that at a discount, it will drive revenues. Because what you want to do is sell the products so that you're able to recover the cash that will allow you to buy more products along the way.
Yeah.
So those kind of promotions will help drive.
Yeah. Let me offer a caution or like a contra
Yes.
opinion on that. And actually, it's something we were educated on just this season on the podcast. So the first episode, we had Michelle Watiki, who's the co-founder of Dark Analytics. And what they do is they basically like gather data around people's, businesses. And she's saying one of the things that she really keeps an eye on in the business is customer acquisition cost. And when you're running they found that when you run promotions, only about maybe 50 was it less percent are actually customers who would only buy if there's a promotion. There's a big number that would buy anyway. And so she was saying if you do run a promotion, let's say the discounts you end up giving throughout that day are maybe like 50,000, but you only get 3 new customers. That customer acquisition cost is insane. But I think it's a number that we never think about because you just think, okay, I need more money. Okay, let's run a discount. I need more money. But I thought I should insert that perspective. And please go watch that episode if you've not watched it. Yeah.
No, I completely agree with you. Please work exactly what you said off data.
Yeah.
Because like the example that I'm giving are for large scale businesses where you can't have stock on the shelves
for a long time.
Otherwise, the next batch, which has already been manufactured has to take that same space. I've loved this new, I don't know if you're familiar with Think Twice, this new business. Have you seen this? Like they sell secondhand clothes.
Yeah.
And I was very surprised because my wife is the one who introduced me. It's like, oh, this place you can get good stuff. So on Monday, the price is at a certain level. Tuesday, it's at a certain level. Like it keeps going down because what they're trying to do is do what? Clear stock. Because if they don't, they'll have a backlog and then you're not moving. So in your example, I completely agree. You must do the data. If the discount does not result in the revenue required, then the discount should not be part of the promotion. The promotion could be a value addition of some kind.
Yes.
The promotion could be linked to something that is not necessarily financial, but you need a promotion to drive sales. That's where I was coming from, but I completely agree with you.
Good point. Last question before we go into like a quick fire segment. Yeah. What is the most recent place you've invested your money as a person?
Okay. I can say it because we've worked with Standard Investment Bank for quite some time. I'm very good friends with the directors there. We've known each other for a long time, but I'd never put my money in their products there because I had started my stock market investments through another brokerage firm, Francis Drummond. So those are the ones who handle our accounts. So we had never had a reason to go there. But yeah, recently we said, okay, last year we did very well in the stock market. Last year was a really good year if you are an investor in the stock market. Guys were doing 50 to 100% growth in 2025. So investors, please invest. So some of the returns that we got from there, we put into Mansa X, which is their special fund.
Yeah.
At
SIB. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Quick fire questions. You answer in a sentence or less.
Sure.
What is the last thing you did for fun?
What's the last thing we did for fun? Took my family for a movie.
Oh,
I went and watched a movie, yes.
What movie?
David. I highly recommend it. Yes.
One thing you struggle with that you wish more people talked about?
one thing I struggle with, which I wish more people talked about. Diet.
Okay.
So we actually, it's funny you've asked me that because we're working with a personal trainer now. And he was just making me very depressed this morning. No, that's a wrong thing to say. He was being honest, and he was just saying, you're consistent with your workout, but that will not help your weight issues. Your weight issues are diet based, and so I need to cut out the donuts and the
Wheat.
yeah. It's what I'm eating that's the problem. And I always thought if I can only lift so much and run so much,
You can't outwork.
You can't. Yeah.
I think what's helped me, because also I'm a serious sweet tooth. I love food. Is portion control. So you stuff yourself with the good stuff. So you only have this much space for the bad stuff. So you only have like a quarter of a donut instead of like a full
Yvonne,
donut.
I wish. My stomach seems to always have extra
Never ending.
It's like I don't know what it is. So yeah, we are working on diet.
On that.
Yeah.
Okay. If you had the ability to make a universal law that everybody must follow, what would that be?
Wow. That's such a deep question.
It can also be very silly. Like everyone must wear yellow once a week. Like
No, you're telling me I have to make everybody follow.
here.
Everyone should pray daily because you can't live and survive this life without God's help. Yeah, that would be the lot. Take like 2 minutes, even doesn't matter the length of time, but to pray, to recognize that our strength is not only from us. I think that would be me.
Okay. When is the last time you took a day off?
A day off? Just 2 days ago.
Was it fully a day off? You know, you ask entrepreneur that, but then they were answering phone calls, they were replying to emails.
Yeah, but that's a day off. It's not, I've not been serious, like doing hard tasks. Replying to an email is okay. Sending a text is okay.
When your employees are on leave, do you expect them to respond to emails? And
No. But let me just be honest.
Yeah.
Let me be honest. If there is something that only they can respond to, I will
You'll
give them
be
a call or
forced to.
something. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But why is it when we're taking time off, we expect ourselves to still be on the clock?
You asked me when the last time I took a day off, but I do take, like when you go on holiday,
Yeah.
we do plan, but God's grace, when we go on holiday as a family, we tend to be on
Switch
a holiday.
Yeah.
Like you have at least 2 or 3 days where it's,
Nothing.
please don't call me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Valid. What does success look like for you now versus when you first started out?
Impact. I think more and more now, I recognize, I think early on it was you're chasing the money, but now I think I've thought if you want to leave a mark in the world, you want to have changed people's lives, that's more, I think that's more important. And the funny thing is what I'm realizing, the more impact you have, the more money that comes. Yeah. If you have impact, the money comes. I think it's what I stole from Miles Monroe, which was, this is my, what did you call it? Summary of his explanation. He was just like, don't chase money, chase value. Because if you're valuable, money will chase after you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last question is, what question would you like the next guest to answer?
Oh, I like that. I like that. That's Stephen Bartlett, Deriva CEO. Ask them. What did you ask them? What makes you laugh? Yes.
Okay, let me write because I'll forget. The last guest asked,
Yes.
you have 20,000 shillings to start a business. What are you doing?
Retail.
Particular industry?
Reselling.
Everything.
Reselling. Anything that you can resell. Go buy. I have a friend who's in Mitumba. That young lady has challenged me. This woman will sell bales. She's on Instagram. She has a live, and she'll sell. She has such a personality. And I was just like, she started with almost nothing. So she was actually invited by someone, come and sell for me. Now she's selling for herself. Because the person was like, I can buy, but I'm not going to be on Instagram. But you look like you can do it. So reselling, go buy something that you can resell at a higher price and repeat and try and build on stock and grow from there.
Yeah. All right. Plug yourself, because, you said you're here also for customer acquisition. So let people know how they can find you if they'd like to come and consult with you on personal finance or on the business.
Very good.
We can wrap. Yeah.
Hey, guys. So we're currently building our website, which should be up and running shortly. I told you, these are the small projects at the beginning of your business journey, but it'll be up and running soon. You can find me on any of the social media. So I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. Which other one? X. There's a problem with X, but I'm there as well. Yeah. Waithaka Gatumia, search on any of those, Waithaka Gatumia. And if you'd like to reach out to me, email waithaka@waithakagatumia.com. That's where you'll find me, waithaka@waithakagatumia.com. I'm sure you can be able to put it in the description so guys can be able to find it. And I still love training. So I still do a lot of work with Centonomy. So I'm still one of the trainers in the programs that they have there. And building.
Yeah. I have to say your classes were the ones I enjoyed the most. Because I took Centonomy Entrepreneur.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for coming on board. And thank you for sharing your gems and insights. And thank you for tuning in and watching. As a way to reward us, please comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe. And I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye.